Hey there, I get a lot of people asking me, can you hook up car stereo subs to a home theater system? Yes, why not? They're subwoofers. You'll need an amplifier to push them, but yeah, let me talk to you a little bit about how to even create a budget-friendly JL Audio FATHOM. Those speakers are $3,000 to $5,000 for the subwoofers, so they're very expensive. Luckily, I've got two F113s, the version 1s, FATHOM F113s, and they are outstanding subwoofers. But I want to talk about hooking up car stereo subs to a home theater system. And yeah, you could do it, play around with that and have fun. And I'm going to show you a couple things on how to make that happen. So what we got here is a pretty elaborate system, I guess you could say. Not everybody has this much craziness in their house, but related to the subwoofers, I'm a big bass head, so this is the F113, and these are very expensive, but they are high quality, very powerful, amazing subs, consisting of basically a JL Audio, either 10, this is a 10-inch 10W7, there's a 13W7, that's also a 13W7. I can't say that they are totally different subwoofers. I've had these apart many times and I don't see any differences. I think the version 2 subs might have, the FATHOM version 2 might have a larger magnet. They can handle a little bit more power, but it's roughly the same subwoofer. And as you know, W7s are no joke. So what I did is took a couple of subwoofers out of my cars, and we sold a car, and then I took this one out of our SUV. This one was in my wife's car. It's a 10W7 and a 13W7 and a pretty basic box. They're quite large, but not super big. And as you can tell, these aren't giant boxes either for the home theater subs. Most of that container, because the speakers are so large, most of that container for the FATHOM is speaker structure. It's magnet, it's amplifier, it's the basket. And I don't know how they make so much noise by being such a small system. I've had the SVS subs, a couple different subs on that level, 15-inch subwoofers, giant boxes, and I've always been a believer that the larger the box, the better the bass, which is true in most cases. However, these kind of got me rethinking because they're not very big. However, you can basically use a home amplifier. This is a triad subwoofer amplifier. So you'll want to get a subwoofer amplifier. Basically, there's a few for home theater. There's even some for commercial, like type of professional applications. Yeah, many different varieties. Some of them have fans on them that can get pretty loud, but this triad subwoofer amplifier, I can't remember the exact model number, but it's a 500 watt amplifier. As you can see, it's got some subwoofer crossovers on the front. I'm running both of these on this one amp. This is my amp running my tower speakers, the big brown ones there. And this is the amp running the subwoofers. So yeah, you just hook it up. I've got these running in series. Each one of these speakers is a dual voice coil. Got two coils at 1.5 ohms. So in series here, you've got 3 ohms. And this is also a 3 ohm, same with these. So I hooked up this amp to these two and I ran them in series. So you have to do a little research if you want to hook up multiple subs. A lot of people have car boxes, subwoofer boxes with maybe 2 12s in them or something like that. Sometimes the ohms, if you run them in parallel, might be a little bit too low for the amplifier. So you got to kind of check the specs on that. I'll be honest, I've hooked up hundreds of speakers, subs to all kinds of amplifiers, home theater receivers. I've never blown an amp because the ohms were too low. Okay, usually the amp will clip and turn off, but if you break something, it's on you. But I'm just saying, I've done this hundreds of times and I've never blown an amp because I've had too low of an ohm load. However, if I ran both of these in parallel, that would put it at about 1.5 ohms, and that amp's rated more at about 4 ohms. And so in series, it puts it at 6 ohms. So we're at a safe level. Had to play around with the settings on my Denon to kind of turn the bass up a little bit and adjust how I wanted the output on those subs. And then I came back and I filtered in my volume level on the FATHOMs. And that's my settings on the FATHOM. So my volume level is quite high. I might turn it back down, but I'm just playing around with it. And then my crossover settings here. A little bit more detailed crossover application on the FATHOMs, and that's part of why they're more expensive. The amps are top notch. You've only got a few different levels to play with here on the Triad. Yeah, and basically because I'm running both sides, this is like left and right, if you will, but I've got them running together. So basically I've just got the crossover turned all the way down to 35 Hertz. I like really low bass. I don't listen to Tejano. My wife does sometimes, but it's got very high pitched bass in it. And I really don't like that. I like the low bass. And so that's why my crossovers are set so low. But anyways, just wanted to share with you, yes, you can hook car stereo subs up to a home theater. It's easy to do and it's fun. And you can even have budget FATHOM JL Audio subwoofers in your house by picking up a car subwoofer. It's a JL Audio W7, and it sounds pretty comparable to the FATHOM. I'm not kidding you. Very impressive. Clean, pure, low bass. Maybe the amplifier itself is pretty good for that as well. So not all amps are gonna have that filtering for the crossover to cut it down so low and clean it up. So just something to look at for your research, you know, for having crossovers on the subwoofer amplifier. But most home theater sub amps that have any kind of crossover on them will get the job done. But I'm in love with this, and it shakes the freaking house. This is awesome. Exactly what I love. Y'all have a good one, and I hope this helps. Bye.